All right, I'm going to go ahead and jump in. We may have a few more people joining us. I just want to give a quick overview on how we're going to structure today's session. I'll go through some quick introductions and background to the work that we do at Marquee 360. We'll go over Microsoft Planner and then how we can extend the functionality there using the Power Platform. We will have some time for Q&A at the end, but we do want this to be an interactive session. So if you have any questions, feel free to drop a question in the chat or raise a hand. We will also be sending out the recording from today following the session. So some quick introductions on our side. I'm Charlene, an account executive here supporting our customers throughout their work management journey. And then I also have on the call with me Stella Simpson, who's one of our solutions architects. Stella, do you want to say hi really quick?
Hi, my name is Stella Simpson. I'm a solutions architect here at Marquee 360, specializing in Planner and our PPM 360 solution.
Thank you, Stella. Stella's going to be walking us through the technical portion of today's demo. So a little bit about Marquee 360. We have been a Microsoft Partner of the Year finalist for project and portfolio management for the past few years. And what that means is that Microsoft recognizes us as a trusted partner to support their customers throughout their Microsoft journey and investment. Our work here focuses primarily on the M365 applications such as Planner and Teams, SharePoint, as well as the Power Platform with tools like Power Apps, Power Automate, and Power BI. Sorry. Marquee 360 was founded by previous Microsoft employees and have been in the work management space for over 20 years. So they have seen many iterations of Microsoft's project management tools, everything from Project Server to Project Online, and more recently, Planner and the Power Platform, where Microsoft is shifting their focus for work management. The work that we do here focuses on 3 areas for success. We work very closely with the Microsoft technology and product teams during their development process to ensure that we're up to date with the latest technologies and advancements, making sure our customers receive those updates quickly and effectively. The Power Platform is where Microsoft is focusing a lot of their new technology and upgrades to give you those low code, no code solutions and allow you to take some development into your own internal teams rather than having to rely on custom coding. We act as your trusted advisor throughout your work management journey by providing in-depth conversations around requirements, implementation and design, and post-deployment support to make sure your team has everything they need to be successful. If you have been a Microsoft user for some time now, you may have used Planner in the past and found its use limited, but Microsoft is really evolving the tool. What they did was combine To Do, Planner, and Project for the Web into one experience and are continuing to add to it, making it a much more robust tool than you might remember. The new Microsoft Planner allows teams to manage all their work in one place while integrating with tools such as Outlook, Teams, SharePoint, tools that you're already using. It also leverages Copilot capabilities, allowing teams to accelerate their work with the support of AI. While Planner is still evolving, there are some limitations that Planner alone cannot fill. That's why we created a way to extend Planner using the Power Platform, allowing you to track risks and issues, integrate with teams, and automate status reporting, really allowing you to manage your projects all in one place while still leveraging the Microsoft ecosystem. I'm going to go ahead and pass it to Stella, who will dive a little bit deeper into PPM 360 Lite.
Hey everyone. Okay, so today what we're actually going to do is we're going to start off in our traditional planner. We'll take a quick look at our basic plan and then a premium plan, and then we'll pivot over to our PPM 360 solution. So to start, the way we can access Planner is by going to the waffle in the top left corner of any Microsoft application, and then we're going to select on Planner. Go to More Apps and search for Planner, and this is our traditional Planner app. Now, we also can use Planner in Teams, and the way we do that is in your Teams application. You can go to View More Apps, search for planner, and then we can click on planner. And as you can see, I already have it pinned here. So you can right click to pin it or unpin it, as you can see. Now, the main difference here between using planner, yes, Eric. Eric, did you have a question?
No, sorry. I was just trying to find it. I found it.
Okay, great. Okay, so the main difference here between using Planner in Teams and using our traditional Planner application, like a full window here, is that the Planner in Teams is actually going to receive updates, like the updates before the traditional Planner app. So this is a tool that Microsoft is investing a lot of research and development on. So we're seeing consistent updates on, like, every couple of weeks we'll get a new update, and those are typically released to the Planner within Teams application first, and then a couple of weeks to a month later they typically will hit the traditional Planner application. Of course, there's also the added benefit of being able to just go back and forth between, Planner, and then go back over to my chats, and then, back and forth here as well. So now we've talked about how to access Planner, let's go ahead and dive in on how to use Planner. Starting with our left-hand navigation here on My Day, we're going to see any tasks that are due today. So I typically don't have any tasks that are due today, but in addition to that, we actually, if I go over to My Tasks and go to the grid view, I also can right-click on one here and say Add to My Day. So I go back over to My Day, and now I have those added. And as you can see here, I actually do have this one, Plan for Construction Teams, today's webinar here as well. In this, I can manage my grid view or my board view here, and I can group by status, due date, plan, or priority. Now, if we go over to the My Tasks area, I can see all tasks right now. So for my flagged emails, it's gonna just look through my emails and see anything that it can be used as a task. And as you can see, we have some attachments here, so I can pull it up and look at those. So it tries to create tasks from my flagged emails. If I look at ones assigned to me, I can see ones in specific plans. And then if I pivot over to the board view, I can see ones by due date, by plan, as you can see here, priority, and status as well. So I can actually mark a task as in progress by simply dragging and dropping a task into the in progress. So for example, this one right here is in progress. I'm going to go ahead and I can drag and drop it, or I can just mark it completed altogether like this. Now, if I go to my plans area, I can see all of my active plans, and then I have some specific plans that are pinned that you can see right here in the left-hand nav as well. I can pin a plan by hovering over here and just clicking on the pin, as you can see here. Now we're going to go ahead and create a new plan together. And this is, so I'm going to create plan. And as you can see here, we have these templates. Now for today, we're going to use our commercial construction template, since this is a webinar focused on construction. So I'm going to go ahead and select commercial construction. The plan type is premium. So we were going to cover basic plan, but we'll just go ahead and dive straight into premium, and I'll kind of highlight the additional areas here. So use template, commercial construction, and I'm going to say use template. Now, once my plan is created, it's going to give me all of these template tasks. As you can see here, I have a lot of template tasks. Now I can change the plan name by clicking here, and then I can say webinar added here. Plan owner, I'm going to go ahead and make this myself. But it's actually looked up to AD, so I can make anyone an AD, the plan owner of this here. And I can see how many hours. So this is a lot of hours, so obviously I'm probably going to want to come in here and break this down a little bit. So I can, these are broken into summary tasks, as you can see here. I can go ahead and say, it looks like I already have a custom field added here for risk. So if I come here and look at this, it's high, medium, low. So this template came with that. I also am going to add effort completed, and effort remaining as well. So we can see my construction planner task, as you can see here. Now I'm going to go ahead and collapse this, and I'm actually going to add a task above that just says project schedule. And I'm going to highlight all of these below, and I'm going to make them a subtask. So now everything will roll up to this. Now let's go ahead and expand this out here. I can see from the quick look template, this came with 2 checkmark items. So if I click on it, I can see here, submit bond documents, submit insurance documents, as you can see here. I can come in here and I can add a note. and I can assign to someone straight from here or just from here directly. So I'm gonna go ahead and assign this to myself, and I can add a label as well. Now we go straight into a premium plan, but I do want to take the time to kind of discuss the differences. So with a basic plan, it's not, the main difference is that it's not measured in effort. So each task isn't going to be associated with like, an effort at all. Like there's actually just going to be started, in progress or completed, like not started, in progress or completed. That's it. That's the only way we can measure those. And it's not going to have as many of these like columns. So it's not going to have like dependencies, for example, like this one has dependencies. As you can see here, there's some dependencies built into my template. And it's obviously not going to have percent complete as well. As far as a view standpoint, it's not going to have as many views. So instead of this nice timeline view here, we're going to have a calendar view that's going to look a little different. Now we can see our template didn't give us any milestones because milestones are indicated here by a diamond icon. So if we wanted to go ahead and add one, I'm going to say insert task above. I'm going to call this milestone 1, and I'm going to make this dependent on task 9, obviously here. Okay, now if we look back at my timeline, oh, sorry. A milestone is indicated by 0-day duration, 0 hours. So I want to make sure this says 0 here. And now we can see our milestone indicated as a diamond icon here. So with Planner, it is built for, tasks that are assigned to hours or just percent complete progress in general. But here is a great way for construction that we can go through, and we can use this as like, so let's say I'm roofing specific, I'm not carpentry. I can come in here, and since this is already collapsed, I can go ahead and delete this altogether. And it's going to delete all the subtasks. Same thing for masonry work. I can come in here and delete this because I'm roofing. So it kind of gives you like a big template for all types of construction, and then you can predefine this. Now let's say that I am using this and I want to use it for I want to use this exact template for another project moving forward because I like this so much. What I can do is, Planner doesn't use templates per se, other than those templates that we're using this one that they created. But what I can do is I actually can come up here and I can copy the plan. So if I actually go like this, I can say copy plan, and I can use this as my starting point for my next project, which is really nice. Now, if we talk about our views here, I'm going to go ahead and move over to the board view. So we can see here that this template came with all of these different buckets, as you can see here. And so these stayed, right? But I can go ahead and delete these as well, since we deleted all the tasks associated with it. And I can drag and drop tasks into different buckets as well here. I can group by bucket. I can also group by progress. So if I drop this into in progress, it's going to mark it as 50% complete. When I mark it into completed, it'll be 100% complete. I can also do assign to, so I can start assigning these to myself. As you can see here, I can start dragging and dropping these, and then whoever else I assign tasks to, I can come here as well. I can also assign directly from here as well. So if like I wanted to assign to Erin, I could type her name in and assign to her as well. So now Erin's been assigned to this task. Those are our two main things that our group by is good for, the progress and the assign to, in my opinion. We also have labels, of course, so I can mark labels by simply dragging and dropping. And sprint for your those types of projects, for agile projects. And then we have goals as well, which we'll cover here in a minute. So our timeline view, as you can see, it's really nicely. Now, technically from this timeline view, I can extend the duration of tasks. Like, so for example, I could take this one and extend the duration, and technically I can edit the dependencies. However, it's a little finicky from this view. So I would recommend simply updating the dependencies from the grid view using that depends on column, because it can be a little finicky from this view. Our reports, so it looks like my license is needs to be updated here. But our reports, there's a really nice feature here, which you can kind of communicate with AI. and you can communicate with these reports. So you can create new reports like weekly status reports and such, which is a nice feature. So this must have happened today because I just checked yesterday and I had the license. So sorry about that. We can't dive into that feature a little bit more. Here we have some charts. Now I do want to take the time to quickly pivot over because let's say you're like, I really like Planner, but I don't really like the reports and the charts that are providing. Here at Marquee 360, we do have some nice reports as well that we can send you some screenshots of because my license, once again, is kind of messed up. Let me see real quick. Oh, here we go. So we have some nice Planner reports that you can see. So these are like just out of the box Planner reports if you're strictly using Planner. So these are some nice reports. We also have like resource assignments, as you can see here, resource dashboard. So this gives us a lot of good information about, and this is hyperlinked. So if I click on this, it's going to open that plan in Planner. We also have the people view. So this is really nice. I like to go to view options here and say number of tasks and make sure I can see everything here. So this can see I have 5 incomplete, 0 are late, Aaron has 1 incomplete. And from this view, I also can drag and drop as well. Any questions so far? Okay, great. Okay, our goals view. Now, this is something that Microsoft created, which is very interesting. So basically, it's like if you have like objectives tied to tasks, I can say like complete task under budget. And then I can come in here and start to connect it to tasks. Now, the tricky thing here is one task, it's one task per one goal. So I can have, this task is assigned to this goal, so I can't assign multiple goals to this one task, unfortunately. My assignments view is really nice, specifically when it comes to tasks that have multiple people assigned to it. So I'm going to go back over to this task, and I'm going to add Aaron to this task. Now we're both assigned to this task. If I go to my assignments view here and I say group by task, I can scroll down to this task and I can see that we're broken down 8 hours. Now the weekend is blocked off here and holidays will be blocked off as well. And I can see that we're assigned 8 hours total. Now I can edit this directly from this view and I can say, actually, Aaron's going to do some more work on this than I am, or I'm going to do more work than Aaron in this case. So now I'm doing 14 hours and she's doing 8. And then for resource in general, I can come in here and start to separate this out as well. So it gives them like I have a daily view, I have a weekly view. And my monthly view is really good for planning purposes because I can see in August for this schedule how much. So like Aaron has 76, I have 74. So my tasks seem to be working out pretty evenly. So this is a nice little view for that as well. Now back on our grid view, I do also want to touch on conditional coloring. I can actually look up this and say, if it's assigned to me, for example, make it yellow or make it pink. And they can also say if the duration is less than or equal to 20 days, I want to see it in yellow. And as you can see here, we have a bunch of different options. So percent complete, it's less than 100. Less than 10. Yeah, let's make it, yeah. And we'll see all of that highlighted as you can see here. So for those of you that like coloring, this is a nice little attribute there, as you can see. Now we'll go ahead and pivot over to PPM 360. So as you can see here, we have our PPM 360, and I'm going to go over to our home screen, as you can see here. Now, PPM 360, this is a Power Platform solution. This would live in your environment. So it'd be controlled we would implement this into your environment. So as you can see here, we have at the top, we have a nice business process flow. So basically I can say, okay, I'm done initiation. Now I'm ready to go to planning. And I would say yes. And then I would send this to approval, and this would go to an approver, and then they would come in here, review my plan and say, I really like that. And then say, okay, you know what? She's ready to go ahead and move to planning. They would approve, and then it would automatically update to planning. We're seeing that more and more customers are actually choosing not to have approvals embedded into their business process flow. They're actually choosing more and more just to have no approvals at all. Or if there is an approval, it's just at the closure gate. So someone would go in and make sure, the lessons learned and all the other closure items were completed before allowing that plan to go into closure. Now, this is our PPM 360 Lite solution that we're going to be looking at today. So we're going to have our summary tab. Our tasks tab is going to be exactly what we just looked at in Planner, a premium plan embedded into this tab, as you can see here. So we're going to, once it pulls up, we're going to have those same views. We're going to have the ability to have like all those custom columns. I can create up to, 15 custom columns, which can be a text, date, number, or yes, no as well. And I can actually create a custom field that goes across all projects, not just at the local level. So there's our assignments view as well, conditional coloring. So everything we just looked at is embedded into this tool, but it allows us to just give us like, it's not just simply a plan for a project. I can assign some summary level information, like who's the project manager, who's the business sponsor, do I need a Microsoft Teams for this? And as you can see with that business process flow, this is what the approval email looks like. So whoever's the approval would receive this, and they would say approve, and I would say submit. And now I've approved this plan to move to the next gate. So it's been approved, and we're going to see that upload here in a minute. If I press refresh, it might take a minute for the Power Automate flow to fully develop, but once it's done, it will go into the planning. So it'll update from submitted to approved here in a minute. So this is all customizable what we're looking at right now, right? So the great thing about the PPM 360 tools, I can come in here and I can customize these things. I can assign this to a portfolio. I can assign this to a program, which we'll look at more here in a minute. I can say, well, the planned project start date was this, but this is pulling from the actuals, right? So I can assign more information to my plan and have these fields compared to Planner, where we have just the schedule part, right? I really can't, there's nowhere that I can assign additional information outside of like the plan owner and plan name here, of course. But if there's like multiple contacts on the plan, we can do all of that through this as well. Now, our PPM 360 tool is also going to come with the ability to manage portfolios and programs, which Planner has portfolios, but at a very high level, and we're going to see that it's way more advanced here in this tool. So let's take a quick look over at our risks. We also can submit risks here. So if I say new risk, for example, I can come in here and these fields are customizable as well. So I can say my description of the risk, the mitigation plan, the contingency plan. And this is where I kind of want to go ahead and pivot over to our PPM 360 reports, which has a beautiful risks dashboard. So with our PPM 360 full, you're going to get 15 reports. With the Lite, you're going to get 8, but either way, the risks dashboard is one of them. So I can see, like, I can filter on project manager and go to my name and see, okay, across all of my projects, I have 38 open risks, and I can kind of see some data on those, such as the cost exposure as well. And that data is pulling from this tool here. Any questions about risks? Do we have some people on the call today that are currently tracking risks, or maybe don't have a way to track risks, but need a way to track risks? Okay. We also, yes, Eric?
I was just saying we track it in Excel. It's not very.
Okay, yeah, a lot of our customers that come to us are typically doing things right now in Excel, but are looking for more like formatted project management tool. So this would be a good move from Excel for sure. Then we also have issues, right? So one of the things I like to cover is people might ask, what's the difference between a risk and an issue? The example that I like to give is, let's say I have a team of 5 people and my schedule is dependent on the amount of work that they're doing each day. It's Monday and I have 3 out of 5 people that are out sick with COVID. I'm going to go ahead and open up a risk and say my schedule might be impacted. Here's the cost, for this building is supposed to go live on this date, but if, I have these people on my crew that are out, that's going to impact our schedule. This is at risk. I'm bringing in some new resources. That's my mitigation plan, Then the next day, the only 2 people I had left are out with COVID. So now I have 5 people out. It's now escalated from a risk to an issue, and we do have a nice convert risk to issue workflow. So on an open risk, we actually have a field where you can say convert to issue, and it will take the data and create an issue for you. So that's kind of the difference between a risk and an issue. And once again, we also have a nice issues dashboard I like to highlight here as well. Once again, I can go to project manager and just see mine, or I can see across all of them, even by portfolio as well. And then we have a nice area for our status report. So this is how we're going to come in and create a new status report here. I can set my KPIs. And that is going to relate to our really nice status report here too. So this is intended to just show one project at a time. And I have a lot of high level information. So I have all of my risks, my changes, my project issues. Now the changes are if you get the full PPM 360. So if you do need an area to track changes, then you might be more interested in the full PPM 360, which I can quickly pivot over to that and show you what that looks like. The full PPM 360 is basically going to just come with more tabs. And then it also comes with an intake application as well, where you can submit project ideas and requests as well. And it also comes with an entire resource management control too. But moving back over to Light, here's our status report that I wanted to highlight. Now let's dive into programs and portfolios. So I have assigned this to this program and this portfolio. Now, what does that mean? So if I go over to my portfolios area here and I go into that healthcare one, which this one is assigned to, actually back up. So this is my portfolio dashboard. So I can see, okay, and people like to typically want to know what's the difference between a portfolio and program. So with the business definition between a portfolio and a program is that projects within the same program typically have similar resources with similar skill sets that can be shared across projects within the same program versus projects in the same portfolio are managed on the same fiscal level. So it's like I have like $1 million and I can have like a diverse portfolio, right? I can have construction projects, healthcare projects that all live in the same portfolio, but they're being managed from the same pocket of money versus program. It's more like this is our program. Resources are similar. We can share them across there. Now, with that said, those are the business or typical business definitions for portfolio versus program. We have a lot of customers that have slightly altered definitions for portfolios and programs. So ultimately, it's however you want to use them and however you want to group them. So if I click into a portfolio here, I can see some general information, my portfolio financials. So there is a financials tab that comes with the full PPM 360, and all that information is going to roll up here. And then I have a nice timeline, which is a really nice view here. So I can see the current overall health of this one, for example, is yellow at risk. I can see who the project manager is. And this is also editable. So if you wanted to add a column here for project manager or other information, you could add that as well. We can see this one's red. And then we can see this highlighted portion is how much of its percent is complete. And then here's a list of all of our projects. Now with our program, as you can see here, I can see the state, some KPIs. I have 15 active projects, of which 8 have a current overall health that's on track or green. 5 have a current overall health that's at risk or yellow, and 2 have an overall health that's in trouble or red. And if I click into this, this has a little bit more of a general. Once again, this is all editable as well. I can see the status. I can set the KPI. This can be based on calculations or manually set. Financials, same thing here. It's going to roll up based on the projects that live in this program. My beautiful timeline view I also have here. And then my list of projects as well. Now, since we have some time, I just want to quickly touch on something. I mentioned that we have the intake app that comes with the full PPM 360. Just going to quickly touch on here what that looks like. So, and if you want a more in-depth demo on that, we're happy to provide that. But this is an area where you can submit ideas or requests, and it goes through an approval process. And once approved, we actually use Power Automate to automatically create the projects on the PPM 360 side. So we can see, for example, this one was submitted, and I can see like different areas where I can submit some information. And this is extremely customizable and changes a lot. The approval process can go to one approver, multiple approvers, batch approval, series approval. So this is the Canvas app, and we have a lot of different possibilities that we can use here. What's also great about our intake app is the data set is SharePoint. That means that people aren't going to need a Planner One license or Planner license of any kind to come and submit ideas. They'll just need the correct permission to the application, and a Microsoft 365 license is all they'll need. Now, when we talk about the PPM 360 side here, we actually are going to need, the project managers are going to need your Plan 3 license, which is the same license you need for a premium plan here. So if you're able to do a premium plan, you already have the license that you need for this as well. And then Plan 1 license is all that team members need to come in here and activate, or to come in here and access what they need. Are there any questions on anything we covered today? Okay, well, I'll go ahead and hand it back over to Erin, but if there's anything you guys want to see more of, whether it be reports or the intake application, I'm happy to have a separate session to go over those things. Erin, Charlene, I'll hand it back over to you guys.